Children, a not-for-profit organisation dedicated to ending Africa's longest-running war, has held a global campaign to raise awareness for the plight of children abducted and forced to fight as soldiers in Central East Africa.
Now, as part of that campaign, activists agreed to abduct themselves and wait to be rescued. To tell us more about that, we're joined in the studio now by Colin Sansom and Christina van den Hengel from Invisible Children. Invisible Children, okay, for 20-odd years now, Joseph Kony and the Lord's Resistance Army have been waging this mad campaign in parts of Central Africa. What are you going to do about it by protesting in this country or anywhere else? Well, the rest of the world has not been able to stop it, have they?
Yeah, it's something that has been neglected on such a large level by the international community, even by Uganda's own government. And what we believe this campaign has done, and the campaigns we've done in the past, is really put an international spotlight on the situation and ask our governments to take action and be involved in supporting the end of this terror. Yeah.
Now, you're saying that the campaign involves you and other activists are going to actually abduct yourselves, and you have to wait to be freed by politicians or whoever else. And that's pretty much a stunt, isn't it? How long do you expect that would go on?
Well, it's actually, in Sydney, we did our abduction last night. It started at, it was fantastic. We had 1,000 people there from the ACT and from New South Wales, and then we have 4 other cities around Australia participating as well.
Which is all very admirable. You know, no one's knocking that. But yeah, as you say, this has been going on for some 20 years. You've got Ugandan authorities, they just cannot stop the Lord's Resistance Army. They're going across the border to Congo. They're going into southern Sudan, stealing children, forcing them to be soldiers. It would take an international force to stop this.
Exactly, and so that is what the Ugandan government realized when they asked the International Criminal Court to come in and investigate and assist them in this whole matter of really indicting this rebel leader, Joseph Kony, that's the absolute cause of this conflict, and really pursue that means to an end where we see him brought to justice through that body.
The man's mad.
Yeah.
What sort of numbers are we talking about now of abducted children?
There are between 2,000 and 3,000 children currently in the LRA, and over the past 22 years, estimates between 30,000 to 50,000 children have been abducted at some time or another.
And most of the awareness of late, and by Western, it seems to have been raised by this documentary.
Yeah, the film Invisible Children was made in 2003 by 3 young filmmakers from San Diego, California. And since then, from 3 guys, we've seen a movement of 6 million people have now seen the film, and a movement of thousands around the world, starting in the States and then moving on to 10 countries that have participated in the last in this rescue, which is happening tonight around the world.
But the trouble is that a country like Uganda simply doesn't have the resources to fight this band of outlaws. That's what they are, and it's an army of outlaws, isn't it? Absolute madman. How is anyone going to stop this man?
That's a tough question, absolutely, and it's one that we have to just trust that through putting this spotlight on this, through asking our governments, asking people of influence and people of power to take notice and to take action, that together as an international community we can actually work together to put together a plan to apprehend this leader, to rescue these children, rebuild these communities,
It's going to take an international force.
and really see this area flourish again. It's absolutely possible. It's just up to us, I guess. Yeah.
You've got this campaign going in Australia tonight. Have you actually made any overtures to the Australian government to try and get support?
Yeah, that was one of the major parts of the event tonight, or this last night.
Sorry, it's happening tonight.
So we were doing a letter writing campaign to both Stephen Smith, the Foreign Affairs Minister, and of course the Honourable Kevin Rudd. Really with 4 main asks of how we'd love to see their government work together with the Ugandan government, again, to see the situation change. And over 2,000 letters were written just here in Sydney, and of course that's happening in more cities in Australia, across New Zealand, and over 120 around the world.
Of course, one of the worst things about this whole situation with the Lord's Resistance Army is that it's taking place in such an impoverished part of the world anyway. I mean, Uganda is clearly on the way up. But the Congo, southern Sudan, these are impoverished countries which have their own political and their own problems with civil war.
Yeah, I was living in Congo in 2007, 2008, and the conflict in Eastern Congo alone is taking all the resources, all the UN resources and all the government resources as far as the army is concerned, and the northeastern section is being severely neglected, which is one of the asks we are putting forward we put forward last night in our letters that we wrote, was to really provide protection for these civilians who are being completely left to the hands of these rebels. Over 50 villages have been ransacked and burned in the last 2.5 months.
It's a campaign of terror.
They're being largely ignored. Yeah. People are...
How young are some of the children who work there?
Abducted, we're talking from 6, like 5, 6, through to 15 would be the main, I guess, ideal age would be 8 to 12.
Yeah, it's really frightening. Frightening.
Yeah, and even more frightening that not enough people know about it. Yeah.
Well, good luck with your campaign.
Thank you so much.
It does nothing more than raise awareness about the world. You're just going to achieve something.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the idea, absolutely.
One bit at a time.
Appreciate your help in that as well.
Okay,
Thank you so much.